The crystal chandelier above the dining table cast shadows across my mother-in-law's face as she set down her wine glass with deliberate force. Maya, when are you going to stop this nonsense and act like a real adult? Patricia's voice cut through the polite dinner conversation like a knife. My husband Tyler sat beside me, fork frozen halfway to his mouth. He didn't look at me. He never did when his mother started. You're 28 years old, and you still don't have a proper career. Just that little part-time job at the bookstore. She laughed, but there was no warmth in it. It's embarrassing, honestly. Tyler works so hard at the firm, and you're just lazy. The word hung in the air like poison. My face burned. I'd heard variations of this speech for 3 years, but tonight felt different. Tonight something inside me cracked. I'm not lazy, I said quietly. Patricia's eyebrows shot up. Oh, then what do you call someone who refuses to join the family business? Who won't even consider law school like Tyler suggested? Someone content to waste her potential. Tyler finally spoke. Mom has a point, Maya. We need to think about our future. The house we're planning to buy. I stood up, my chair scraping against the hardwood floor. Excuse me. I walked out, my hands shaking with rage and hurt. I sat in our bedroom, staring at my reflection in the vanity mirror. When had I become this person? The woman who apologized for existing, who shrunk herself to fit into someone else's blueprint. 5 years ago I'd been different. Had dreams. Big ones. I wanted to design jewelry, to create beautiful things that made people feel special. But then I met Tyler at a coffee shop, fell hard and fast, and suddenly my dreams seemed selfish compared to his family's expectations. His mother made it clear from day one. Morrison women supported their husbands. They joined the family law practice or married into businesses that complemented it. They bought houses in Riverside Heights where all the right people lived. They had exactly 2.3 children and hosted charity brunches. God, I tried so hard. I took a paralegal course I hated. I smiled through Patricia's criticism. I gave up my tiny studio apartment where I'd spent weekends sketching designs and experimenting with metalwork. I became smaller and smaller until I almost disappeared. My phone buzzed. An email from someone named Claire Winters. Saw your jewelry portfolio online. Interested in discussing a potential collaboration. Call me. My heart stopped. I'd forgotten about that portfolio. I'd uploaded it 2 years ago, then abandoned it when Patricia called my designs cute little crafts. I couldn't sleep that night. I kept thinking about Claire's email, about the life I'd set aside. At 3 a.m. I crept downstairs and opened my laptop. Claire Winters owned a boutique online marketplace for artisan jewelry. Small but growing. Her website featured the kind of pieces I dreamed of making. Delicate, meaningful, handcrafted. She wanted to talk about featuring emerging designers. Her email had been sent 3 days ago. I'd almost missed it completely. I drafted a response 5 times before sending it. Hi Claire, I'd love to discuss this opportunity. When would be a good time to talk? Send. My finger hovered over the button for a full minute before I pressed it. The next morning, Tyler found me at the kitchen table, surrounded by old sketches. What's all this? He asked, pouring coffee. Something I'm working on. Maya, we talked about this. You need to focus on real opportunities. Dad said there's an opening at the firm for an administrative assistant. I don't want to work at your father's firm. He sighed, that patient sigh that made me feel like a child. Then what do you want? Everything crystallized in that moment. I want to start my own jewelry business. Tyler laughed. Actually laughed. With what money? What experience? Maya, be realistic. Claire called that afternoon while Tyler was at work. Her voice was warm, encouraging. Your designs are stunning. Raw, yes, but there's real talent here. I'd like to feature 3 pieces in my spring collection. I can offer a small commission, and you keep all your profits after my platform fee. My hands shook as I took notes. What's the timeline? 2 months for the first pieces. If they sell well, we'll discuss a longer partnership. I should mention my marketplace has about 50,000 active monthly shoppers. Good exposure for someone starting out. After we hung up, I sat in stunned silence. This was real. Someone with actual business experience believed in my work. That evening, I told Tyler about the opportunity. His reaction was worse than I expected. "You're going to embarrass us," he said flatly. "My mother will have a field day with this. Tyler's wife playing artist while he supports her. Do you have any idea how that looks? I'm not playing. This is a legitimate business opportunity. It's a hobby, Maya. Hobbies don't pay mortgages." Speaking of which, the real estate agent called. The house in Riverside Heights is still available, but we need to move fast. I told her we'd meet Saturday to discuss the down payment. I never agreed to that house. It's where we're supposed to be. Where my parents are, where we'll raise our kids, where you want to be. Not me. That Saturday, while Tyler met with the real estate agent alone, I opened the storage unit I'd rented years ago. Inside were boxes of supplies. Silver wire, gemstone beads, tools, half-finished pieces from another lifetime. I'd hidden them here when Patricia called my workspace in our apartment clutter. Now I carefully loaded everything into my car. I decided something during the sleepless nights this week. I was done asking permission to exist. I started selling things around the house. Small things at first. The designer handbag Patricia had given me for Christmas, still in its box. Some expensive kitchen gadgets we'd received as wedding gifts but never used. A set of crystal wine glasses Tyler's aunt had sent. Each item sold online brought in $50, $100, sometimes $200. I opened a separate bank account Tyler didn't know about. Every dollar went into my business fund. Within 2 weeks, I had $3,000. Enough to buy materials and pay Claire's platform fee for 6 months. I set up a workspace in our spare bedroom, the one Patricia kept saying should be a nursery. Every evening after my bookstore shift, I worked until midnight, creating pieces that felt like releasing trapped pieces of my soul. 3 necklaces emerged. One with raw amethyst wrapped in silver, one with tiny hammered copper leaves, one with sea glass I'd collected on a beach trip years ago. I shipped the pieces to Claire on a Monday. By Friday, all 3 had sold. Claire called me excited. "Maya, you need to make more. I have a waiting list of 12 people asking about your work. Can you handle a bigger order?" "How many pieces?" 20 mixed designs. "I can advance you some money for materials." I wanted to scream with joy. Instead, I said calmly, "I can do that." I told Tyler that night. He was in the living room watching a basketball game. "That's nice," he said without looking up. "It's more than nice. I made $800 in 1 week." Now he looked. After expenses. After Claire's fee. The materials cost me maybe $200 total. Something flickered in his eyes. Not pride. Something else. Don't get too excited. 1 good week doesn't make a business. But I was excited. For the first time in years I felt alive. The next week, I shipped 20 pieces to Claire. Within 3 days, 16 had sold. My phone started buzzing with notifications. Orders, messages, people asking about custom pieces. Barely slept. I worked my bookstore shifts in a daze, counting hours until I could get back to my work table. Patricia noticed at the next family dinner. "You look terrible, Maya. Are you sick?" "Just busy." "Busy with what?" "That craft project Tyler mentioned." Tyler had told her. Of course he had. "It's not a craft project. It's my business." She smiled, but her eyes were ice. How ambitious. The confrontation came on a Tuesday night. I just finished a custom order when Tyler burst into the spare bedroom with Patricia behind him. "We need to talk," he said. I set down my tools. "About this." Patricia gestured at my workspace like it was something dirty. "Tyler says you've been neglecting your responsibilities. Selling household items without permission. Spending all your time on this hobby." "It's not a hobby. I made $4,000 last month." Tyler's face went red. That's not real money, Maya. That's not a career. And you sold my grandmother's crystal glasses. You never used them. They were collecting dust, and I needed capital too. You needed to ask me. His voice cracked. This is our house, our marriage, our future you're gambling with. The house in Riverside Heights might sell to someone else because you won't commit to the down payment. I never wanted that house. Patricia stepped forward. Listen to me carefully, Maya. I've watched you drag my son down for 3 years. You're selfish, immature, and frankly, delusional if you think selling trinkets online is going to support a family. It's time to grow up. Something snapped. Get out. Excuse me. Get out of my workspace. Both of you. Tyler's mouth fell open. Maya, I'm done. Done apologizing for having dreams. Done shrinking myself to fit your mother's idea of what I should be. If you want the Riverside Heights house, buy it yourself. The next morning I woke to find my social media business account hacked. Every post gone. Every product photo deleted. My follower count reset to 0. My hands shook as I tried to log in again and again. Error message. My carefully built presence demolished. I knew Tyler had the password. I'd given it to him weeks ago when he'd asked, claiming he wanted to help promote my work. Called him. Did you do this? I don't know what you're talking about. The lie was so obvious it hurt worse than the truth would have. I hung up and stared at my blank business page. 4 months of work. That afternoon, Patricia posted on her personal account, which half of Tyler's family and our social circle followed. So sad when people throw away real opportunities to chase impossible dreams. Praying for those who've lost their way. The comments flooded in. People I'd considered friends, agreeing with her. Calling me selfish. Saying Tyler deserved better. I sat on the bathroom floor and cried until my ribs hurt. Then I got up, washed my face and got to work. Created a new account. Started from scratch. But this time I did something different. Told my story. I posted a video, my face bare of makeup, eyes red. Hi, I'm Maya. 4 months ago I started making jewelry. Today someone deleted all my work. But you know what? They can't delete my skills. They can't delete my dreams. So I'm starting over. The video went viral. Not huge but enough. Within 24 hours, I had 5,000 followers. People sent messages. Keep going. You're inspiring. I've been where you are. Claire called, furious when she heard what happened. We're featuring you in our newsletter. This kind of resilience is exactly what our community values. Orders started coming in faster than I could fill them. I had to turn people away, promise longer wait times. My bookstore manager Angela noticed I was struggling. Take a leave of absence. Focus on your business. We'll be here when you're ready to come back. I wanted to. God, I wanted to. But I needed the steady paycheck while I built something sustainable. Then everything changed. A woman named Veronica Hart contacted me through my new account. She owned a chain of boutique gift shops across the Midwest. She'd seen my video. I want to carry your line in all 12 of my stores. We can start with a trial order of 100 pieces. I'll pay wholesale. You keep your designs exclusive to my shops and Claire's platform for the first year. After that, we renegotiate. The numbers she offered made my head spin. This wasn't side income anymore. This was real money. Career money. But I'd need to quit my bookstore job to handle production. I'd be completely dependent on my business succeeding. No safety net. I signed Veronica's contract on a Friday. Quit my bookstore job on Monday. Tyler found the contract on Tuesday. Are you insane? He waved the papers at me. You quit your job for this. What if it fails? Then it fails. At least I tried. With our money. The down payment savings, Maya. We had $15,000 saved for the house. And now you want to use it for materials and equipment. That money is half mine. I'm taking my half. You're destroying our marriage. I looked at him, really looked at him. When had he become a stranger? No, Tyler. I'm saving myself. There's a difference. Patricia showed up that evening, letting herself in with the spare key I'd forgotten she had. "I will not let you ruin my son's life," she announced. "Everyone at the club is talking about you. About your little video, your brave entrepreneur act. You're making us look like villains. I never mentioned you in that video. You didn't have to. Everyone knows about the family tension. And now you want to steal money from Tyler's house fund. I won't allow it. It's not your decision." Her smile was cruel. "Isn't it? Tyler is a co-owner of that account. If he doesn't authorize the withdrawal, you get nothing." My stomach dropped. I'd assumed I could access my own money. He wouldn't. He already did. "The account is frozen pending marital counseling. Either you abandon this foolishness, or you get nothing." I moved out that night. Took my clothes, my tools, my jewelry supplies. Found a tiny studio apartment in a building that smelled like old carpet and cooking oil. It was $600 a month, all I could afford without the savings. I had $1,200 in my business account and 100 pieces to make for Veronica. I bought materials on credit. Set up my work table next to my bed. Worked 18-hour days, fueled by coffee and spite. My fingers bled. My back screamed. I lost 10 pounds in 2 weeks. But I finished the order. Veronica inspected every piece when I delivered them. She held up a bracelet with tiny silver birds. "This is exquisite work, Maya. My customers are going to love these." Her first order sold out in 5 days. She ordered 200 more pieces. Then 300. Within 2 months, I was making $8,000 monthly after expenses. I hired an assistant, a college student named Bryn who needed flexible hours. I upgraded to a larger studio apartment with actual workspace. Started sleeping 6 hours a night instead of 3. Tyler called me constantly. "Come home. We can work this out. I miss you." But he never said he was proud of me. Never acknowledged what I'd built. Just that he missed me like I was a piece of furniture he'd grown accustomed to. I stopped answering. Patricia left voicemails. "You're being childish. Running a little Etsy shop doesn't make you independent. Come back before you humiliate yourself further." 6 months after I left, I got an offer I didn't expect. A private equity investor named Jackson Reeves wanted to buy 40% of my company for $250,000. I'd be able to expand, hire a real team, maybe even open a physical studio. But there was a catch. He wanted operational control. Final say on designs, pricing, partnerships. I'd be an employee of my own company. Almost said yes. The money would change everything. Then I remembered Patricia's face when she called me lazy. Tyler's dismissive laugh when I said I wanted to start a business. I'd built this from nothing. From spite and determination and 3 a.m. panic attacks. No one was taking that away from me. "I appreciate the offer," I told Jackson over coffee. "But I'm not interested in giving up control. If you'd like to invest as a silent partner, we can discuss terms." He looked surprised. Most people would jump at this opportunity. "I'm not most people." He smiled. "No, you're not. Let me think about your counteroffer." 2 days later he agreed. $150,000 for 20% equity. No operational control. I had capital to grow. And I had my company. Tyler heard about the investment through the grapevine. Suddenly, he wanted to talk about reconciliation. I met him at a coffee shop. He looked tired. "I made a mistake," he said. "I should have supported you from the beginning. Can we start over?" "What changed?" I asked Tyler. He shifted uncomfortably. "I saw what you built. I was wrong to doubt you. You were wrong to dismiss me. To let your mother mock me. To hack my account, yes, I know it was you. To freeze our bank account so I couldn't access my own money. I panicked. I thought you were throwing our future away. No, you thought I was embarrassing you. There's a difference." He reached for my hand. Pulled away. "Maya, please. Love you. We can make this work. You could run your business from the Riverside Heights house. It has a huge basement you could convert to a studio." Actually laughed. "You still don't get it. I don't want the Riverside Heights house. I never did. That was your dream, your mother's dream. Not mine. Then what do you want? I want someone who believes in me even when I'm nobody. Who supports my dreams even when they're tiny and uncertain. You only came back after I succeeded. That's not love. That's opportunism. His face hardened. So that's it. You're choosing your business over our marriage. I'm choosing myself. Finally. I left him sitting there. It should have hurt more than it did. That night I got another call. Claire from the original marketplace. Maya, I have someone who wants to meet you. Cassandra White. She owns White & Company, major jewelry retailer. National presence. She saw your work in Veronica's shops. I met Cassandra at her flagship store downtown. Sleek, minimalist, expensive. Everything I'd dreamed of when I started. Your pieces have a quality I rarely see, she said, holding one of my necklaces up to the light. Authentic emotion. People buy jewelry for meaning, not just aesthetics. You understand that. We talked for 2 hours. She wanted to carry my line in all 47 of her stores. The order would be massive, more than I could produce alone. I'd need to scale up significantly. Hire a team, rent a proper studio space. Maybe even bring in additional designers. I'll need 6 months to set up production, I told her. Can you wait that long? For the right partnership, yes. But I'll need exclusivity. No more boutique deals, no more marketplace platforms. Just my stores and your website. I thought about Claire, who'd given me my first chance. About Veronica, who'd believed in me when I had nothing. I can't cut them out. They're part of my story. Cassandra smiled. Then we'll make it work. Limited exclusivity. I get first access to new collections. They can continue with existing designs. Fair. Fair. I extended my hand. It shook. When I left her store, I called Tyler. He answered on the first ring, hope in his voice. I need you to sign divorce papers, I said. Silence. Then. Maya, don't do this. We can fix. There's nothing to fix. We want different lives. Let me go. More silence. Then quietly. Okay. The divorce was surprisingly simple. Tyler didn't fight it. Patricia did, of course, calling me every name she could think of. I blocked her number. Tyler moved on fast, dating someone from his firm within 2 months. I heard through mutual friends that Patricia approved of her immediately. But they deserved each other. I threw myself into building my company. Hired 6 people. 3 designers who shared my aesthetic, 2 production assistants, 1 business manager who actually knew what she was doing. We rented a warehouse space in the Arts District. Exposed brick, huge windows, room to grow. The White & Company launch was scheduled for spring. I was terrified. What if nobody bought my work on a national scale? What if I'd overextended, hired too many people, made promises I couldn't keep? The night before the launch, I couldn't sleep. I walked through our dark studio, looking at the pieces we'd created. Hundreds of necklaces, bracelets, earrings, rings. Each one made with intention and care. I thought about the woman I'd been 2 years ago. Small, apologetic, desperate for approval. She felt like a stranger now. The launch exceeded every projection. We sold $100,000 worth of jewelry in the first week. Cassandra called, laughing with delight. Maya, we need to triple your next order. I've never seen response like this. My team worked overtime. We brought in contractors. I barely left the studio for 3 months. With my first major profit distribution, I did something I'd been planning for a year. I bought a house. Not in Riverside Heights. In the Arts District, a converted warehouse loft with floor-to-ceiling windows and exposed steel beams. Raw, industrial, perfect. The opposite of Patricia's suburban dream. I furnished it with vintage pieces from thrift stores, art from local galleries, plants everywhere. My jewelry studio took up half the space. Felt like finally living in my own skin. I threw a housewarming party. Invited my team, Claire, Veronica, Cassandra, Angela from the bookstore. People who'd supported me when I had nothing. We drank cheap wine and expensive champagne, laughed until our sides hurt. This was family. The family I'd chosen. Tyler saw photos on social media. He texted, "The house looks great. I'm happy for you." I almost believed he meant it. Patricia was less gracious. She cornered me at a mutual friend's wedding. "You think you're so special now," she hissed. "But everyone knows you destroyed your marriage for a hobby that got lucky. Wait until the trend passes. You'll come crawling back." I smiled sweetly. "I don't think about you at all anymore, Patricia. You should try the same." I walked away, leaving her sputtering. 6 months later, my business hit $2 million in annual revenue. Forbes did a feature. From spare bedroom to national retailer. How Maya Chen built a jewelry empire. The irony of the timing wasn't lost on me. Tyler showed up at my studio on a random Tuesday. Security called up. "There's a man here claiming to be your ex-husband. Send him away. He says it's urgent. About your mother-in-law." Decide. 5 minutes. He looked different. Thinner, older. Or maybe I just stopped seeing him through the lens of someone who needed his approval. "Patricia's sick," he said without preamble. "Cancer. Advanced." I felt sympathy despite everything. "I'm sorry. She wants to apologize. To you." Now that was surprising. "Why?" "Because she's dying and she has regrets. Will you visit her?" Thought about it. About the years of cruelty, the undermining, the constant message that I wasn't enough. "No. Maya, please. She's my mother. And she made my life hell. I'm sorry she's sick. Genuinely. But I don't owe her forgiveness. Especially not a deathbed scene where she feels better about herself." His face crumpled. "You've become so hard." "No. I've become honest. There's a difference." He left. I went back to work. A week later, Patricia died. I sent flowers to the funeral but didn't attend. Tyler sent a thank you card. Inside he'd written, "She never understood what she lost when she pushed you away. Neither did I." I filed the card away and moved on. My company kept growing. We launched a men's line. Started using recycled materials. Partnered with a non-profit supporting women entrepreneurs. The Riverside Heights house, the one Tyler and Patricia had been so obsessed with, went back on the market. I saw the listing online. 5 bedrooms, 3 baths, perfectly manicured lawn. Everything I'd supposedly wanted. On impulse, I called the real estate agent. "Is the seller accepting offers?" "Yes, but it's been on the market for 8 months. The price is firm." It was listed at $450,000. I offered $500,000 cash. Closed in 2 weeks. Tyler called when he heard. "Why?" he asked, genuinely confused. "Why buy the house you never wanted?" "Because I can. And because I'm not keeping it." I donated the house to a non-profit that provided transitional housing for women leaving abusive situations. Fully furnished, mortgage-free. A place for women to rebuild their lives. The press loved it. "Jewelry designer turns dream house into haven," read one headline. I got letters from women who'd stayed there. Mothers with children starting over. Elderly women escaping decades of control. Young women finding their footing. Their gratitude meant more than any profit margin. Tyler sent a text. "That was a beautiful thing you did." I didn't respond. Some chapters needed to close completely. My company crossed $5 million in revenue that year. We opened a flagship store in my city. Expanded to Canada. Started getting international orders. Jackson Reeves, my original investor, called. "Someone wants to acquire your company. Major fashion conglomerate. They're offering $15 million. "I'm not selling," I told Jackson. "Hear them out at least. This is generational wealth, Maya." The meeting was at a downtown hotel, all glass and steel. 3 executives in expensive suits, PowerPoint presentations about synergy and brand integration. They wanted to buy my company outright. I'd stay on as creative director for 3 years, then transition out. You'd never have to worry about money again, the lead executive said. Focus purely on design, let us handle the business side. It was everything I'd supposedly wanted. Financial security, validation, proof that I'd made it. No, I said. They looked surprised. We're prepared to negotiate on price. It's not about price. This company is mine. I built it from nothing, and I'm not handing it over so you can strip out everything that makes it special and turn it into another generic brand. Ms. Chen, be reasonable. I am being reasonable. You want to buy something that isn't for sale. I left the meeting. Jackson called as I drove home. You just turned down $15 million. I know. Are you crazy? Maybe. But it's my company, my choice, my crazy. He laughed. You're either the bravest entrepreneur I know or the dumbest. Possibly both. I'll take both. Kept building. Hired more people. Opened a second store. Launched an apprenticeship program for young designers who reminded me of myself. Talented, overlooked, hungry. Tyler got remarried. I saw the announcement online. His new wife looked happy. Hope she was. Then Tyler did something I didn't expect. He tried to sabotage my business. Started small. Anonymous reviews claiming my jewelry was overpriced. Cheaply made. Then escalated. Someone filed a complaint with Consumer Protection, claiming I used conflict diamonds. I didn't. Every stone was ethically sourced, documented, certified. The investigation cleared me completely but damaged my reputation. I hired a private investigator. The trail led back to Tyler. He'd been posting the reviews from fake accounts. Had filed the complaint using a business rival's name. All because I'd refused to sell and he saw my continued success as a personal insult. I could have handled it quietly. Instead, I went public. Posted the investigation findings, the evidence, everything. My ex-husband is attempting to destroy my business because he can't handle my success, I wrote. This is what happens when someone's ego is more fragile than their ethics. The backlash against Tyler was swift and brutal. His law firm asked him to take a leave of absence. His new wife left him. Patricia, if she'd still been alive, would have died again from the shame. He sent me one final message. I hope you're happy now. You've destroyed me. I wrote back. No, you destroyed yourself. I just documented it. Then I blocked him forever. My lawyer filed a restraining order and a defamation lawsuit. We won both. Tyler paid $500,000 in damages. I donated every penny to my women's shelter program. 5 years after leaving Tyler, my company hit $10 million in annual revenue. We had 8 stores, 50 employees, customers in 23 countries. Forbes listed me as one of the top 40 entrepreneurs under 40. I was invited to speak at my old college. The auditorium was packed. Students, faculty, people from the community. I told them my story. Not the glossy version, the real one. About being called lazy. About giving up my dreams to fit someone else's vision. About the night I walked out with nothing but my jewelry tools and my stubbornness. Success isn't a straight line, I said. It's messy and terrifying, and sometimes you have to burn your whole life down to build the one you actually want. But the alternative is spending decades being someone you're not, and that's worse than any failure. A young woman approached me afterward, tears streaming down her face. My family says I'm wasting my time with my art. That I need to be practical, get a real job. I took her hands. Listen to me. You get one life. Don't spend it being practical for someone else. Be impractical. Be unreasonable. Be so stubbornly yourself that people have no choice but to see you. She hugged me tightly. Thank you. I thought about the woman I'd been, small and apologetic in Patricia's dining room. If I could go back and tell her what was coming, would I? The pain, the fear, the lonely nights, the constant doubt. I bought my second house that year. Not a loft this time. An actual house with a yard and a garden. Room for the life I was building. I adopted a dog, a rescue mutt named Pepper who'd been abandoned and was now thriving. We took long walks through the neighborhood, Me and my scarred, resilient dog. Both of us proof that sometimes the best revenge is living well. My company kept evolving. We launched a sustainable line made entirely from recycled materials. Started a scholarship fund for design students from low-income backgrounds. I met with each scholarship recipient personally, told them they were worth investing in. Some of them cried. I understood why. I started dating again. Nothing serious, just remembering what it felt like to be seen by someone who actually liked who I was. No more shrinking. No more apologizing for taking up space. One evening I was working late at the studio when my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Is this Maya Chen? Yes. My name is Dr. Helen Foster. I'm a business professor at Columbia. I'm writing a case study about women entrepreneurs who've succeeded despite family opposition. Your story keeps coming up. Would you be willing to be interviewed? I thought about Patricia's voice. You're lazy. Tyler's dismissive laugh. The years I'd spent believing them. Yes, I said. I'll do it. The interview became a Harvard Business Review article. Then a book chapter. Then a TED Talk invitation. The TED Talk was in Vancouver. I stood backstage, heart pounding, while they introduced me. Please welcome Maya Chen, founder of Chen Jewelry and advocate for women entrepreneurs. I walked out to applause. Looked at the sea of faces. Again. I was called lazy for wanting to make jewelry instead of joining my in-laws' law firm. I was called selfish for choosing my dreams over someone else's plan for my life. I was told I'd fail, that I'd embarrass myself, that I should be realistic. Pause. They were wrong. But not because I'm special. Because they fundamentally misunderstood what realistic means. Realistic is acknowledging that life is short and uncertain. That spending it being someone you're not is the biggest failure. That sometimes the bravest thing you can do is disappoint people who never really saw you anyway. Talk went viral. Millions of views. My inbox flooded with messages from women around the world. You gave me courage to leave. I started my business after watching you. Thank you for saying what I needed to hear. I read every message. Responded to as many as I could. This was bigger than jewelry now. This was about permission. Permission to be yourself even when it's hard. To choose your path even when everyone says you're wrong. To succeed on your own terms. My company hit $20 million in revenue. We were approached by acquisition firms quarterly. I said no every time. Then something unexpected happened. Tyler reached out through a mutual lawyer. Not to apologize or reconcile. To make amends properly. He'd been in therapy for 2 years. Working through his own stuff. Patricia's control, his fear of disappointing her. His inability to see me as separate from his family's expectations. I can't undo what I did, his letter said. The sabotage, the dismissal, the years I made you feel small. But I want you to know I see it now. I see how toxic it was. How I failed you. Not looking for forgiveness. Just wanted you to know that you were right and I was catastrophically wrong. I appreciated the honesty. I wrote back. Thank you for acknowledging it. Hope you find peace. I already have mine. We never spoke again. It was enough. Patricia's memory faded. The family who judged me moved on to judging someone else. Kept building. 10 years after leaving, my company was valued at $50 million. I could have retired. Instead, I doubled down. Opened a training center where aspiring jewelry designers could learn the craft for free. Funded microloans for women starting creative businesses. Created a foundation supporting arts education in underfunded schools. The money wasn't the point anymore. It never really had been. The point was proving that the girl they'd called lazy had more determination than any of them could imagine. That their small dreams didn't define my possibilities. That I could build an empire from spite and silver wire and sheer stubbornness. I'm 43 now. My company employs 200 people. We have 20 stores across North America. Our pieces are worn by actors, musicians, regular people who want something beautiful and meaningful. I never remarried. I dated, had relationships, But I'd learned the hard way that I didn't need someone else to complete me. I was already whole. Last month I was invited to speak at a women's leadership conference. The audience was thousands strong. As I looked out at them, I saw myself at different ages. The uncertain 28-year-old being called lazy, the terrified entrepreneur starting over after being sabotaged, the woman learning to choose herself. They called me lazy, I told the crowd. But here's what they didn't understand. Refusing to follow someone else's path isn't laziness. It's courage. Building something from nothing while everyone doubts you isn't easy. It's the hardest thing you'll ever do. I paused, looking at the faces staring back at me. I sold their dream house. The one they said I was supposed to want, supposed to need to be complete. And you know what? I built my own empire instead. Not because I wanted revenge, though I won't lie and say that didn't fuel me at first. But because I realized something crucial. Their approval was never going to make me happy. Only my own approval mattered. The standing ovation lasted 5 minutes. After the conference, a young woman waited by my car. She looked exactly like I had 15 years ago. Scared, hopeful, desperate. My fiancé's family wants me to give up my photography business, she said. They say it's not practical. That I need to focus on supporting him. I don't know what to do. I took her hands, the same way someone had once taken mine. You already know what to do, I said gently. You're just afraid to do it. And that's okay. Fear doesn't mean you're making the wrong choice. Sometimes it means you're making the right one. But what if I fail? Then you fail. And you try again. But at least you'll fail at something that matters to you, not someone else's dream. She hugged me, crying. I gave her my card. Email me. I fund small businesses for women in your situation. No strings attached. Driving home that night, I thought about the journey. The dinners where Patricia had made me feel worthless. The moment I'd walked out with nothing but my tools and my determination. The countless nights I'd worked until my hands bled. The times I'd wanted to give up, to go back, to accept that maybe they were right about me. I thought about Tyler's dismissive laugh when I'd said I wanted to start a business. Patricia's cruel smile when she'd called my work cute little crafts. They tried to make me small, to fit me into their box labeled appropriate, and realistic and practical. Instead, I'd built an empire. My phone buzzed. A message from Bryn, my first assistant who now ran one of our flagship stores. Just hit $100,000 in monthly sales. Thank you for believing in me when no one else did. Smiled. This was the real empire. Not the money or the stores or the recognition. The empire was every woman who'd found her courage because I'd shared my story. Every designer I'd trained. Every entrepreneur I'd funded. Every person who'd heard me speak and decided to choose themselves. The house they'd wanted me to buy in Riverside Heights was helping women escape abuse. The dream they'd tried to force on me was giving other women their dreams back. That felt like perfect justice. Pulled into my driveway. My house. My real house, the one I'd chosen, glowed warm in the darkness. Pepper barked excitedly from inside. My studio light was on. I had a new design I wanted to finish tonight. This was my empire. Built from nothing but determination and spite and the stubborn refusal to be anyone but myself. They'd called me lazy for not following their path. I built my own path instead. And it was glorious. I walked inside, Pepper dancing around my feet, and got to work. There were still designs to create, women to inspire, dreams to fund. The empire wasn't finished. It was just beginning. And somewhere, in some dining room, there was probably a woman being called lazy for wanting more than the life others had planned for her. I hoped she'd hear my story. I hoped she'd know she wasn't alone. I hoped she'd choose herself too. Because that's what empires are really built on. Not money or recognition or revenge. They're built on the revolutionary act of believing you're worth more than the smallest version of yourself that others can accept. They tried to make me small. Instead, I'd become infinite.